Welcome to JAC-Tv. Today's story is about an OFW who spent 20 years working overseas, but unlike many others, he came home financially free. This is not just a story about salary. It is a story about sacrifice, discipline, patience, and the small decisions that changed the future of John and Nancy forever. This story might change the way you think about money, work, and financial freedom. After 20 years of working overseas, John sat quietly beside the airplane window. Below him, the Philippines appeared through the clouds. For years, he had dreamed about this moment. Not because he was tired of working, not because he hated life abroad, but because he had a goal many OFWs talk about but few achieve: to return home financially free. As the plane slowly descended, memories flooded his mind. The sacrifices, the loneliness, the struggles, the missed birthdays, the missed Christmas celebrations, the years spent far away from the people he loved. Was it all worth it? For John and Nancy, the answer was yes, but not because of how much money he earned. It was because of what they did with that money. This is their story. Chapter 1. The day everything changed. 20 years earlier, John sat quietly at the dinner table. The electricity bill was due. School expenses were coming. Rent was approaching. Nancy was doing her best to stretch every peso, but both of them knew the truth. No matter how hard they worked, they were barely moving forward. One evening after dinner, they sat quietly at their small dining table. Bills were spread out in front of them. The room was silent. Finally, John looked at Nancy. Then he asked, "What if our life stays exactly like this for the next 10 years? Nancy didn't answer right away, because deep down she was asking herself the same question. That was the moment John first considered working overseas. The opportunity sounded exciting, but it also sounded terrifying. He would miss birthdays, wedding anniversaries, Christmas celebrations, family gatherings, and countless moments with Nancy, moments he could never get back. While he worked abroad, life at home would continue without him. The night before his flight, nobody slept. Nancy tried to stay strong. John tried to stay strong, but deep inside both were afraid. The next day, as the airplane lifted into the sky, John looked out the window. For the first time in his life, he felt completely alone. Yet he also felt something powerful: purpose. He wasn't leaving to escape his family. He was leaving because he loved them. Chapter 2. The Big Temptation. The first paycheck felt life-changing. John checked his bank account again and again. He could hardly believe the amount. Back home, that money would have taken months to earn. Around him, his co-workers started spending immediately. One bought the newest phone. Another bought a designer watch. Others started sending large amounts of money home for house renovations. John wanted to do the same. After all, he had worked hard for it. But before buying anything, he called Nancy. After listening quietly, Nancy asked a simple question.
If you spend all your extra money today, what will be different 10 years from now?
John had no answer. That conversation became the foundation of their financial plan. Instead of spending first and saving what remained, they reversed the process. They saved first, then spent what was left. It sounded simple, but that one decision would eventually change their lives. Chapter 3. The Years of Sacrifice. As the years passed, staying disciplined became harder, not easier. Every vacation back home brought new temptations. Friends were driving newer cars. Some were building larger houses. Others seemed successful on social media. There were moments when John questioned himself. Maybe he was missing out. Maybe he was too conservative. Maybe he should enjoy life more. One day he shared these thoughts with Nancy. Nancy smiled. Then she said something he would never forget. Many people spend money trying to look successful. We are building real success. Those words stayed with him, year after year. Every time he felt tempted, every time he felt discouraged, every time he compared himself to others, he remembered those words and kept moving forward. Chapter 4. The Small Decisions That Built Wealth. 10 years had passed since John left to work overseas. Life was better than before, but not because they earned more money. Life was better because they made better decisions. Over the years, John and Nancy learned an important lesson. Wealth is rarely built through one big decision. It is built through thousands of small decisions. Every month they faced choices: spend or save, borrow or wait, upgrade or invest, choose comfort today or security tomorrow. At first, those choices seemed small: a new phone, a luxury watch, an expensive vacation, a bigger car. None of them seemed dangerous, but John noticed something. Many people earning the same salary were still struggling financially, even after years of working abroad. Not because they earned too little, but because every increase in income was followed by an increase in spending. The more they earned, the more they spent. The cycle never ended. John and Nancy chose a different path. Whenever John's salary increased, their investments increased too. Whenever he received a bonus, a portion was saved immediately. Whenever they considered a large purchase, they asked themselves one question: will this make our future better? Sometimes the answer was yes. Many times the answer was no. And when the answer was no, they walked away. It wasn't always easy. There were moments when they felt left behind. Friends were buying new cars. Others were building dream homes. Social media made it seem like everyone else was becoming successful faster. But Nancy always reminded John of something important. We don't know their financial situation. We only know ours. And so they continued, quietly, patiently, without needing approval from anyone. Year after year, those small decisions produced big results. Their savings grew. Their investments grew. Their confidence grew. For the first time in their lives, they were no longer worried about next month. They were preparing for the next 20 years, and without realizing it, financial freedom was already taking shape. Chapter 5. The accident that changed everything. The accident happened on what seemed like a normal day. John went to work just like he had done thousands of times before. Nothing felt unusual. Nothing felt dangerous. Then within seconds everything changed. The injury was not fatal, but it was serious. Doctors told him he would need months to recover. Months without working. Months without earning. For days John could not stop thinking. He stared at the hospital ceiling. Hour after hour, question after question filled his mind. What if I never fully recover? What if I lose my job? What if I become a burden to my family? For the first time in many years, he felt vulnerable. When Nancy visited him, she saw the fear in his eyes. She sat beside him, held his hand, and reminded him of something important. We prepared for this. John knew she was right. For years they had built an emergency fund. For years they had invested consistently. For years they had prepared for unexpected situations. The accident did not destroy their future, because they had already built a financial safety net. That experience changed John's understanding of wealth completely. True wealth is not luxury. True wealth is resilience. It is the ability to survive life's storms without falling apart. Chapter 6. The True Meaning of Wealth. Several months after retirement, John woke up one morning without an alarm clock. No work schedule, no supervisor, no deadlines, just silence. Peaceful silence. He stepped outside and watched the sunrise. A few moments later, Nancy joined him, holding a cup of coffee. For a while neither of them spoke. Then Nancy smiled and asked a simple question. Was it worth it? John looked around and thought about everything. The years apart, the sacrifices, the hard work, the discipline, the difficult decisions. Then he smiled and answered, every single sacrifice was worth it. Because for the first time in decades, he owned something many people spend their entire lives chasing. Freedom. Not the freedom to buy anything, not the freedom to impress anyone, but the freedom to choose how he would spend the rest of his life. And in that moment John realized something. The greatest investment he ever made was not a stock. It was not a property. It was not a business. The greatest investment was every disciplined decision he and Nancy made together. Over 20 years, one decision at a time. Final lesson. Many people believe financial freedom comes from earning more money. But John and Nancy discovered something different. Financial freedom is not built by income alone. It is built by discipline. It is built by patience. It is built by consistency. Year after year, decision after decision. Most people focus on how much they earn. Very few focus on how much they keep. And even fewer focus on how they invest it. The truth is simple. A higher income can improve your life, but only good financial habits can change your future. John was not lucky. Nancy was not lucky. They simply made thousands of small decisions, the right decisions, again and again, until those decisions transformed their lives. And maybe that is the most important lesson of all. You do not need to become rich overnight. You only need to start. One step, one investment, one good decision at a time. Because the best time to build wealth was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. This is JAC-Tv. Discipline today, freedom tomorrow. Build wealth, leave your dream. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.